You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You are watching the leaders in full immersion gaming, and this is the pregame show only on the NBL Network.
One spot in the season 28 Super Bowl is filled. We just got to fill that other one here tonight with the NFC Championship game. Game 2 of our doubleheader is the New Orleans Saints facing off against the Detroit Lions. Before we get there, we have, of course, our NBL Live pregame show brought to you by Web3KS.com, the graphic sponsor here on NBL Live. They are super affordable and they are easy to work with. So if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to Web3KS.com. They're the leaders in affordable graphic design. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, Hop. Hop, game 2 of the doubleheader NFC Championship game. They've got some big shoes to fill to meet that excitement of the AFC Championship game. But this one, I think, is a game that most people are looking forward to. One of the hottest teams in the NBL, the New Orleans Saints, versus one of the mainstays of the NFC, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to live up to that game that we just watched. That was one of the best Madden games that I've ever watched in my entire career with the NBL. That was an amazing game, but this game features 2 hot teams right now, and I'm really looking forward to see who's going to come out of this one ahead.
All right, well, let's get right down to it. Let's take a look at the players to watch for the NFC Championship game. On the side of the New Orleans Saints, you got Michael Thomas, player to watch, and an absolute beast. Our player of the game for the New Orleans Saints in the wild card round. He was fantastic, and he has been really the key receiver for this New Orleans Saints offense. 751 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns on the year. But in the playoffs, this is the guy that Ross Bonham, back healthy after going out for a couple weeks in the middle of the regular season. Michael Thomas is that sure-handed wide receiver he looks for in crunch time. Hop, crazy stat. He had 6 catches in that wild card game. 4 were on 3rd down, and they all went for first downs. That's why this guy is one of the most reliable targets for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the fastest guy. He's not going to beat you over top, but he's so sure-handed. He might have one of the best hands in the NBL. He's seeing a high number of targets. This is 43 targets this year. That's the most he's had in his career. Just under 750 yards and 3 touchdowns. But since they got in the playoffs, he's been an animal for this New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, Michael Thomas, just an absolute beast, has been one of the more reliable targets for this New Orleans Saints offense. They're going to need all sorts of offense because they're facing off against one of the high-powered offenses in the NBL, the Detroit Lions. And still their leader in their wide receiving corps, of course, Golden Tate, another 1,000-yard season, almost 1,600 yards, 69 catches, 8 touchdowns, averaging 9.2 yards after the catch. I mean, Golden Tate has been the emotional leader of this defense. Now he's got a sort of a Robin to his Batman and Harvey Beckham. Hop, what sort of player is Golden Tate? I mean, you sort of thought as he gets up there in age, he may not be the player that he used to, but he proved this year with 69 catches and 1,600 yards. He's still somebody you have to account for on the offensive side of the ball.
You know, it's like all these Detroit Lions receivers have like a stigma that they are just crazy good after the catch. So yes, he's got sure hands. He's only 5'10", and he's not very fast, and he's already at 31. But after he catches the ball, the quick jukes, the moves he makes, it's amazing. Just to wait till you see them play. It's a very amazing thing how these Detroit wide receivers are after the catch.
Yeah, somebody who wasn't a player to watch, but we just mentioned is, of course, Harvey Beckham, HB18. Hop, this guy is an absolute athletic freak. 84 catches on the year, almost 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns. And now in the playoffs, I mean, this is a young player drafted in that season 27 rookie draft that is going to have to be accounted for all over the field because he is explosive. I mean, how tough is this? I mean, we looked at the Pittsburgh Steelers and how tough they were to match up against. How tough is this Detroit Lions offense to match up against defensively?
I mean, what do you do, OSU? He runs like a 4-2 flat.
I mean, don't ask me. I have no idea.
He's the fastest player in the NBL by far. It's not even close. And he can do it all. He's not just fast. So you see people like John Ross, right? They're just fast. That's it. This kid's not. This kid can run. He's got great route running. He can catch, and he can beat you deep. There's not much you can do to stop him, but you have to contain him.
Yeah, don't ask me what to do because the Detroit Lions dropped 48 on my Oakland Raiders in the regular season, so we clearly had no idea how to stop him. We're about ready to send it out to the NFC Championship game. Get your predictions in the chat, folks. We'll be reading those throughout the first quarter. Hop, who do you like in this game? Are you liking the New Orleans Saints? I think probably one of the hottest teams in the NBL coming in. Really, with Ross Bonham healthy, this team looks totally different. And with Michael Thomas, they're looking to get to their first Super Bowl, or the Detroit Lions going to win today and look for owner Bomber's 6th NBL Super Bowl and facing off against a familiar foe in the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know, I kept saying Lions, 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 but the 29th ranked defense for the Detroit Lions paired up with Tevin Coleman today. Tevin Coleman's going to run all over them. I think they're going to win. The New Orleans Saints are going to win 24-21 in a nail-biter tonight.
I just want to point out, I was just checking the chat. Usually we read this throughout the first quarter, but I saw our very own Delvar joining us today, executive producer of the NBL Network, saying 34-10 New Orleans Saints. He might be trying to get the Detroit Lions riled up. There's only one way to find out, folks. We got to find out who's going to be in the Season 28 Super Bowl coming up next. It's the NFC Championship game for the right to face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Detroit Lions and the New Orleans Saints. It's coming up right now here on NBL Live.
My name is Rex Dixon.
Greg Stein.
Clint from EA Sports.
You're watching NBL.
You're watching the NBL Network.
And you're watching the MBLN Network.
Empty backfield for Atkins. He's been dropping back to pass here on 4th down. He is looking deep over the middle. He has a man. It's Brandon Cooks who catches it, makes a man miss.
Oh, that's
Woodard is
touchdown.
dropping back. He's got open over the middle. It's
Wow.
Butler.
That big playmaker
Look
ability
at
as
him
he
go.
finds him again.
Into the end zone. Another
Touchdown.
touchdown. Double-header action here on the NBL Network. Game 2 underway right now. It's the NFC Championship game between the 10-6 New Orleans Saints and the 13-3 Detroit Lions. A great matchup here for the right to face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Season 28 Super Bowl. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, Hop. We got some predictions coming in the chat. Shadow Rose saying 35-21 Lions. The Lions certainly the favorite in this game. If the New Orleans Saints are going to win and beat the juggernaut Detroit Lions, who have also, albeit, been very hot since their loss to the Minnesota Vikings, the second loss of the season, what are the Saints going to have to do effectively? Is it really down to establishing that run game with Tevin Coleman?
Yeah, I think it starts there on offense. You do have to get Tevin Coleman's wheels going, pick up first downs, no quick 3-and-outs. But when it comes to defense, you have got to get to Matthew Stafford. You got to lay a couple hits on him, get some pressure on him, and force him to make mistakes, and then let the game come to you.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, very similar to Ben Roethlisberger in that sense. If you give him too much time in the pocket, only sending 4-man rushes, I don't care if you're dropping, 8, 9 men into coverage, he's going to find a way to pick you apart, so they're going to have to get some pressure on them. As we got more predictions in the chat, Dylan Greco saying 24-20 Saints. Playa saying 42-21 Lions. Steve-O is back, 21-24 Saints. With New Orleans Saints getting an opportunity to make a little offense here early in the game as they're going to get the ball first, and we get to see what the New Orleans Saints can do against this Detroit Lions defense, which has been their weak point. 19th in the NBL. They give up a lot of points, but they do score a lot of points as well, so it hasn't really hindered them this season. As 1st and 10. Blair coming in motion. 4 wide receivers out there for Ross Bonham, dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. He tosses it underneath to Hansen, who catches it, trying to get to the first down marker, and he will get there to the 38-yard line. 10 yards on the play. All the collective breaths in New Orleans Hop were held when they saw in that wild card game against the Seahawks. They saw Ross Bonham and Tevin Coleman both go down. Both are healthy for this game, and that gives them a much better chance than if they don't have those two players.
Yeah, I mean, Ross Bonham's just turned into a franchise quarterback. I really like what he's done. He's really turned this New Orleans team from a mediocre team to a very good team.
Pricey in the chat saying 31-17 Lions. Prediction Homer saying 33-20 Lions. It's on 1st and 10 as we hand off Tevin Coleman over the left side. Young fella, you got to stay left on that one as we have an injured player down. Didn't see who that one was, but he had some room on the left side. Instead tries to cut it back up in the middle. Nice tackle made there. Only 2 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that was very uncharacteristic by the speedster running back Tevin Coleman. Instead of just bouncing it outside where he had a huge hole, he goes back towards a big defensive tackle, Slade, and you're not going to run past that big guy.
Yeah, Gianni Slade, such a monster in the middle of this defense when he is healthy. 2nd and 8. Ross Bonham under center, 3 wide receivers, 2 over the left, 1 to the right. He'll drop back to pass on 2nd down. He'll look underneath. It is complete to Kobe Fleener, who gets to the 1st down marker. Give him 10 yards on the play as Jared Davis, the middle linebacker, dislocated elbow, will not return. One of the young, talented players for this team, the Detroit Lions. Now it's going to test their depth. That's a loss in the middle of this defense. One of those players that's been playing really well this year.
Yeah, OSU, that's a huge loss for this defensive Lions team. They love to run that cover 2, and he's a game changer with that middle read. That's a huge loss for this defense.
1st and 10, handoff to Tevin Coleman right up the gut. He'll get a nice run there forward to the 45-yard line, give him 5 yards on the play. Tevin Coleman, we talked about him a lot. Coming over from rival Atlanta, playing second fiddle to Devontae Freeman, wanted that that number 1 running back money, and he has deserved it because he has breathed life into this New Orleans Saints rushing attack.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a number 1 back. Atlanta just happened to get lucky and get them both in the same year. But what he's done in New Orleans has really helped shape the way this team's playing.
2nd and 5, handoff to Tevin Coleman over the right side. Get near the 1st down mark, give him 4 on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 1. Big injury right now, even though that they did get Tevin Coleman back. They got Ross Bonham back. We saw Matt Barkley come in against the Seattle Seahawks. Delaney Walker, their big tight end, one of their reliable targets, he went down with that abdominal tear, won't be returning for the playoffs. So Kobe Fleener will be playing at tight end. We already seen him have 1 catch on the day. Now big 3rd and 1 here on the 41-yard line. New Orleans sort of in no man's land as Ross Bonham under center. Let's see if Tevin Coleman gets the ball. 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. That is Fleener on the right side of the formation. Ross Bonham surveying this defense. He's going to hand it off to Tevin Coleman. Has the 1st down and more up to the 36-yard line. 5 yards on the play. And this is what we saw from the New Orleans Saints in this wild card game hop against the Seattle Seahawks. This is not a score in 3 play sort of offense. They're going to control the clock, run the ball effectively. They're looking to get those 10, 11 play drives to get to the end zone.
You know, actually, this matchup really resembles a lot like the last matchup we just watched between the Steelers and the Browns. As the Lions like to score real quick, and the Saints are going to control the clock and methodically drive down the field.
Play action pass for Ross Bonham, looking, has a man, it's Hansen with the catch at the 6-yard line, and so far, the New Orleans Saints offensive line doing a great job of holding the pocket, and Ross Bonham has been selling that play action. It looked like the entire defense was looking in the backfield, and he's able to find Hansen inside the 10-yard line.
I'm real interested to see how New Orleans is going to take this 5-yard line to the goal line because they have Tevin Coleman. He's not a very powerful back. He's a very speedy back. But do they have a backup to come in that's really going to, like you've seen Crowell do, and push over the edge?
Well, let's see. I formation, Tevin Coleman at the top of that I. Ross Bonham's going to give the ball to him. He's going to try to cut it back up the middle. I don't care how strong you are. When you got 4 Detroit Lions on your back, you're not going to get a whole lot. He'll get a yard on the play. Bring up a 2nd and goal at the 5-yard line. How important is it for the New Orleans Saints, the underdog in this game, to get a touchdown on this opening drive as opposed to getting stopped for a field goal inside the 10-yard line?
No, they need to go ahead and put 7 on the board here. I mean, you know what you're going to get from the Lions offense. They're going to score points. They're going to score it quickly. But you need to expose their defense if you're going to win this game. Stretch
run for Tevin Coleman. The Lions knew exactly what was coming. No gain on the play. And now we get into that tricky situation. 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line. The Detroit Lions feast on this sort of play. They may give up a lot of yards, but inside the goal line, they are a tough defense to score against because of how well they play defensively. And now from the 5-yard line, you got to think New Orleans is going to be throwing this ball, but you never know. They may still decide to give it to Tevin Coleman and make sure they don't turn the ball over as Ross Bonham comes out. Bunch formation through to the right. Michael Thomas alone on the left side. Looks like it's Tevin Coleman in at halfback as Ross Bonham dropping back to pass on 3rd and goal. He's looking to the back of the end zone, and it's the backup tight end, Kobe Fleener with the catch. 5 yards for the score. Great patience there by Ross Bonham, the young quarterback, and Kobe Fleener. He gets his opportunity with the injury to Delaney Walker, and he's making the most of it. 2 catches, 1 touchdown, and the New Orleans Saints go up early here in Detroit, 7-0.
And we talked about OSU, that injury to linebacker Davis. That was going to play a huge effect down. They like to sit in that cover 2 down on the goal line and really shore up the middle. in the middle, the backup middle linebacker just didn't make a play like he should have.
Jared Davis out for the game. 7-0 New Orleans on top, but this is where the Detroit Lions, they're the strongest when the offense is on the field, as they're going to hit the ball at the 20-yard line, and Matt Stafford still at the helm for this Detroit Lions team. And he's got a bevy of wide receivers to throw to. Golden Tate on one side and HB18, who is now getting the name HB1899, Harvey Beckham, the speedy wide receiver. He's on the other side. Let's see how the Lions utilize those two, as Marvin Jones, a very talented wide receiver who could be #1 on a lot of teams, is in the slot. 1st and 10, Keith Marshall to his left, coming over from the Washington Redskins 2 seasons ago. 1st down, Matt Stafford dropping back to pass. He'll look underneath. He'll find HB18 Harvey Beckham's first catch of the game. It's a 1st down up to the 30-yard line. That guy's going to be so tough to match up against when you're not in zone defense.
Yeah, Matt Stafford likes to look at him real early, a couple drags, and then a post Golden Tate. They like to get it going, get the pass game going real early, and then they split carries between Big Marshawn Lynch and Keith Marshall. I think they both had 94 carries for about 600 yards this year, so look for them to keep interchanging throughout the play set.
Yeah, Keith Marshall into the game at halfback. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers for Matt Stafford, who is under center on 1st and 10, surveying this New Orleans Saints defense that has played well this year. See Stafford dropping back to pass, looking. He looks underneath, and he finds Harvey Beckham once again, who gets another 1st down up to the 43-yard line. Give him 12 yards on the play, and Detroit utilizing their speedy Harvey Beckham. That wide receiver is going to be tough the entire game.
Yeah, and it's very, very hard to contain it because you've seen first 2 plays, 2 drags. So then you start keying on, okay, he's coming in motion. I need to stop this drag. And as soon as you do that, they burn you deep with Golden Tate or Gronkowski or Cupper. They have so many weapons on this team. It's a very scary offense.
Yeah, lots of weapons, and that's what's so hard to match up against this Lions team. As Matt Stafford driving back to pass again on 1st and 10. Looks to the left side. He completes it to Golden Tate, as he is known in the Detroit Lions circle. Golden Great coming up with another catch. It's another 1st down for the Detroit Lions, as they are very comfortable dinking and dunking their way down the field, methodically working their way down, and that's just when they're going to lull the New Orleans Saints into a false sense of security and hit somebody over the top. The Lions offense knows what to do, as on 1st and 10, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers once again for Matt Stafford. Rob Gronkowski on the right side of that formation, another weapon in the passing game, as the Lions don't like something they see. They use one of those timeouts. 7-0 New Orleans on top, but this Lions team is one of those offenses that you never feel like they're out of the game.
No, I mean, you just can't count them out. #1 offense in the NBL for a reason. They can put points on the board fast. They have so many weapons, you just can't key on anybody. They can beat you with so many times. They come out in these bunch formations, these tight formations like this, and watch Golden Tate right here. Yeah,
now 2 wide receivers to each side for Matt Stafford. As on 1st and 10, it's Stafford dropping back pass. Blitz coming right up the middle, and down goes Stafford, as Adams just shedded the offensive line and used his big frame to get to Matt Stafford. They finally got some pressure, and that's the best way to stop this passing attack, is make sure Matt Stafford's on his backside. 6-yard loss, 2nd and long now for the Detroit Lions, as they still feel they're not even behind the 8 ball. That's how good this offense is. 2 wide receivers to each side for Matt Stafford. Keith Marshall in at halfback. As on 2nd and 16, Stafford looks over to the left side. Ooh, dangerous throw. One of the rare bad throws we see from Matt Stafford is that coverage. A lot of people over there. 2 wide receivers trying to run sort of similar routes, and they're lucky that that one wasn't taken the other way. Now 3rd and long for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it's almost as if the linebacker made a great play and batted it down, but he pretty much took it out of his safety hands as Matt Stafford threw into the triple coverage right there on the little out route.
I mean, I'm just saying, if somebody wants to pay me $20 million to throw it in triple coverage, I'm available. I'll do it. I'll leave this gig instantly and go take $20 million to throw it into triple coverage. It's on 3rd and 16, play action pass from Matt Stafford. Rolling out to the right side, trying to find someone open. He has a man down the field, and it's caught. And who else but Golden Tate? You lose sight of him. You lose the game as they're down inside the 10-yard line. How do you lose sight of a guy as prolific as Golden Tate?
Yeah, I mean, just 4-man rush.
Only 3 routes being run, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great job by the Lions, seeing that they only sent a 4-man rush. So they only send 3 routes, but now they have 6 blockers, and all day in the world for Matthew Stafford to find a receiver. He's eventually going to find someone.
Yeah, it just took Golden Tate to get all the way over from the left side to the right, and he delivered a dot. Now on the 4-yard line, handoff on 1st down, and Marshawn Lynch got intimately acquainted with the New Orleans defense as he gets obliterated in the backfield. Blackson getting into the backfield, bringing him down for a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, that rookie defensive end has been amazing. I think they took him around like pick 15 this year, and he has just come back. He's had over 12 sacks this year. He is an amazing player for this New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, Leonard Blackson out of Alabama. This guy is a monster. Again, he was taken first round, the 11th overall pick, and he has been nothing but stellar. It looks like they're setting up a little screen to the left side. Nothing doing there. Only a yard on the play. Well covered by this New Orleans Saints defense. Yeah, Leonard Blackson out of Alabama, the rookie. This guy, he's having a fantastic season. 39 tackles, 17 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's a big reason why the New Orleans Saints got hot at the right time. Their defense has been playing stellar.
SEC, baby. They create the best NFL players.
Now a 3rd and goal for the Detroit Lions. As Matt Stafford comes out under center, he's got 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Rob Gronkowski on the left side of that formation. On 3rd down, Stafford looking quick, 3-step drop, tries to find Harvey Beckham over the middle. It is caught, but he can't get into the end zone, and Detroit's going to be forced to kick a field goal, and that's a win for the New Orleans Saints. How important is it? I mean, if the Saints can keep Detroit to field goals, they're going to win this game because the Lions succeed, and they're so hard to stop when they're scoring at a prolific rate, and holding them to 3 there is huge. 7-3 your score.
Yeah, that's just a great play by the New Orleans Saints. Now they just need to go ahead and drive down and get more points on the board and keep holding these Lions to 3 points, because if they can do that, then they're going to win this game.
New Orleans going to take the ball out of the back of the end zone. He's going to take it up past the 20 to 25-yard line. That's where New Orleans will stop. Hop, I believe, if everybody listens carefully here on the stream, we've got a special pick coming in from the Timbo household. We've been getting little videos from Timbo's lovely family, their picks for this game. Let's see where the Timbo family's going with this game.
In the next game, I choose the Lions. Turn up, King Bomber, turn up!
She's a big fan of King Bomber picking the Detroit Lions. They're in a little bit of trouble now, down 7-3. Ross Bonham back on the field, dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. Has a man wide open. It's Michael Thomas. Into the 40, to the 35. Oh, Michael Thomas with another big catch as Ross Bonham has started out on fire. 5 of 5 to start this game, and they're already into Detroit territory.
This young kid has came to play today. Detroit better watch out if Ross Bonham stays hot like this. There ain't going to be nothing they can do to stop this kid.
7-3 New Orleans on top. They're on the 35-yard line. Ross Bonham in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers over to the left. 1 tight end on the right side of that formation. Ross Bonham dropping back pass. Free rusher on the left side. Oh, they had a great play call, but Ziggy Ansah beat everybody on the outside and gets to Bonham. The first sack of the game for the Lions. It drops them back to a 2nd and 18.
Yeah, and that's the plays that New Orleans has to not give up. They can't give up sacks on 4-man blitzes. It's okay if you give up a sack on a big blitz every now and then, but them 4-man blitzes, you have got to complete passes or runs and not give up big yards and get you in a 2nd and long.
2nd and 18 for the New Orleans Saints. Ross Bonham dropping back to pass on 2nd down. Looks out to the flat, has Tevin Coleman. Nice safe throw. Gets back to the 35-yard line. Give him 8 yards on the play. Back to a 3rd and 10. Ziggy Ansah is a handful on the outside. We've already seen him make 1 big play, and they're going to have their hands full with Ansah on the defensive line if they're going to keep the pocket clean for Ross Bonham, the young quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Now 3rd and 10. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 over the left. Kobe Fleener on the right side of that formation standing up. As on 3rd down, it's going to be Bonham dropping back to pass. Only a 3-man rush. Bonham rolling out to the right side, trying to find somebody. Looking to the flat and finds Kobe Fleener at the 27-yard line. Not going to be enough as they're going to have to force a field goal. Hop, it looked like he had a receiver coming from the left side wide open. That was Michael Thomas running across the middle, running that route that we saw Golden Tate get open on that 3rd down. On the other side is on 4th and 3. The ball is down. The kick is up, and New Orleans has restored their 7-point lead. They're up 10-3.
Yeah, and I think he did have Michael Thomas coming across the middle, but a throw on the run that far with a young quarterback, I thought he made a good, safe throw and took the 3 points and kept the lead.
10-3 your score. New Orleans on top. Detroit's going to get the ball back here. As this kicks to the middle of the end zone. 3 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning into NBL Live. Broadcast now 163, and again, folks, we will have our NBL Super Bowl. It should be tomorrow night here on the network. Just got to confirm once we have the seats filled that everybody's going to be there, but you got to tune into that one. It's one of our biggest shows. We'll be announcing our NBL Game of the Year here for Season 28, as well as the award winner for the NBL Achievement and Media Excellence Award. So it's a huge show. You won't want to miss it. That's going to be probably tomorrow night. Follow us on Twitter at Bomber League as Matt Stafford gets hit from behind as he throws. That one's going to hit the ground, be incomplete. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10. At Bomber League on Twitter, or just hit that subscribe button down below so you know when we go live. It'll pop up on a notification when that happens, so don't miss that one, Hop. The Super Bowl should be a good one this year. We know the Steelers are there, only one spot to fill.
Yeah, and we see again once another 2-3 person route play there for the Detroit Lions. New Orleans finally got pressure on that and didn't let him just sit there and wait for someone to come open.
5 wide receivers out there from Matt Stafford, 3 to the right, 2 over to the left, 2nd and 10, empty backfield. 2:56 to go here in the first half. It's on 2nd and 10. It's a throw right over the middle, and wide open is Rob Gronkowski coming up with the big catch. Coming over for Detroit, I believe it was 2 seasons ago. He hasn't had the numbers that you'd expect out of him, as he's sort of been a third target for Matt Stafford. But when Matt Stafford needs a big catch over the middle field, Gronk is the one to come down with it. Now a 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions here at home. 2:41 and counting, 3 wide receivers to the left. Marvin Jones alone to the right on 1st and 10. It's a play-action pass for Matt Stafford. Rush coming up the middle. And down goes Stafford. Wilson with the sack. Another one for this New Orleans Saints defensive line, who's dominating up front against this Detroit Lions offensive line.
Yeah, early on, Detroit keeps trying to do these long play actions and let Harvey Beckham or the speedsters get open, and New Orleans is just not having no part of it early on in this game.
Yeah, lots of pressure so far from the New Orleans Saints defensive line. Very young, very athletic. As 2nd and 19 now for the Detroit Lions. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Matt Stafford under center as he surveys this New Orleans defense.
Looks like an out route coming.
Yeah, definitely you'd love to see Golden Tate as he goes over. Nope, he did not. He's looking over the middle of the field. It's Harvey Beckham using that speed. Gets to the gap in the zone. It's a 1st down. Lions at the 44-yard line. The Lions love to run those out routes on those 2nd and long, but Harvey Beckham with his speed is able to get behind the linebackers and make a big catch on 1st down. 2nd and 19 looked like no problem for the Detroit Lions.
What about that pass from Matthew Stafford, though?
Yeah, he's still pretty good.
He laid it right in the breadbasket there. That was an amazing pass by a great quarterback of the NBL.
Yeah, he's still pretty good, folks. If you thought Matt Stafford was declining at all, no, sir. They're still kicking around here. 10-3 New Orleans on top. It's on 1st and 10. Hey, there's the out route, and Golden Tate makes a man miss, and he's got a lot of room. 44 yards to the house. Touchdown, Lions. You miss a tackle. You miss a lot as the Lions get to the house and are looking to tie this game up with that extra point. Golden Tate showing off the shiftiness with that little juke move on the outside.
And there is that after-the-catch ability that I talked about from Golden Tate. He is the best to do it in the NBL, and it is scary how good he is after he catches that ball.
Yeah, HB18 has been all the talk, but Golden Tate saying, guys, I'm still over here, and he gets to the end zone. 44 yards. A 10-10 your score as the New Orleans Saints going to get the ball back, taken out of the back of the end zone, up to the 20, maybe to the 23-yard line. That's where we get to see Ross Bonham, the Saints offense. The offense, statistically, not one of those things that not one of those teams that we go, well, what a high-powered offense. But late in the season, with Ross Bonham healthy, I mean, this team is running on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, and it's just this is a very big part of this game. Minute 50 left. They're on their own side of the field. They've been very conservative so far in this game. So do we let Ross Bonham go, let him throw it downfield and try to score some points, or do you just play it conservative, give it to Telvin, and to run the clock out?
1st and 10. It is going to be handoff to Tevin Coleman on the counter play. Oh, Coleman's got to cut that one upfield, not try to bounce outside because he had great seal on the edge. Instead, he just sort of runs into his own blocker and is taken down for a 2-yard loss. Going to bring up a 2nd and 12. Real tough if you get behind the clock on this Detroit Lions defense because they are opportunistic. They know how to force turnovers. As Ross Bonham comes out, 2nd and 12. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 over to the right. As it's going to be Ross Bonham dropping back to pass on 2nd down. He's rolling, trying to find somebody open. He's being chased, pursued. He finally gets up and finds Blair standing all alone on the sidelines. 1st down, Saints, and Bonham. We knew Matt Stafford, he gets a lot of completions early. Starts so many games perfect, but Ross Bonham, 8 for 8 to start this game.
Yeah, this kid is just impressing me over and over again. I mean, what throw can he not make? That is an amazing throw right there on the rollout for Ross Bonham.
Yeah, 1st and 10 now for the New Orleans Saints. 3 wide receivers out there on the right side of that formation as Bonham dropping back to pass. Driving back, looking over the middle of the field. He finds Blair once again. Back-to-back catches by the New Orleans Saints. Young wide receiver Blair as he gets a first down to the 43-yard line. 41 seconds and counting. New Orleans, their offense is clicking right now. 1st and 10. Ross Bonham comes out. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left. Blair alone on the right side. 1 tight end on the right side of the formation. As on 1st down, he's going to toss this one underneath to Hansen, who has the 1st down and more. He'll step out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 10 for 10, 164. Ross Bonham having the game of his life here in the NFC Championship game.
This New Orleans Saints offense is on fire right now. We talked about them being the hottest team in the NBL coming into this playoffs, and they have just, it keeps on impressing and impressing. It's an amazing team that's happening right now.
Lindsey Blair, the rookie. They have a lot of young players on this New Orleans Saints team. Lindsey Blair, the rookie out of Oregon, 3rd round pick. 53 catches, 719 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's had a beautiful year for the New Orleans Saints. Been a nice sort of second to third option. As Ross Bonham driving back to pass, they're trying to set up the screen. It is out there to Tevin Coleman, who goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Didn't like how his blockers were set up. Does the smart thing and stops the clock. 24 seconds to go. Man, oh man, what a game we had. We had a great game in our AFC Championship game, and we have a 10-10 ball game here between the Saints and the Lions. Saints driving here at the end of the first half. I don't think anybody saw Ross Bonham and the Saints offense being this efficient, Hop.
No, they definitely did not. But what do you think about Tevin Coleman running out of bounds right there? They have 3 timeouts. I know there's only 25 seconds left, but he could have cut it back in and got a few more yards, I think. Instead, he runs out of bounds, and they save a timeout.
I would have liked to see him stay in bounds, especially because they have 3 timeouts. They're not taking those to the second half. It's Bonham, quick 3-step drop. He'll look underneath once again to Blair. Gets just short of the 1st down marker, 16-yard line, as it stopped with 18 seconds to go. New Orleans using that first timeout. 3rd and 1. Hop, I don't know about you. They got 2 timeouts. The Detroit Lions have been looking pass all game. Look at that. They're dropping in, only sending 3-man rushes. Might be a Tevin Coleman time right now. I know it's weird, but it's one of those times where a little misdirection with Tevin Coleman could see a touchdown here from the New Orleans Saints.
No, I really like the way you're thinking right now. I'd like to see him come out in shotgun and give a little draw or inside zone to Tevin Coleman and see if he can make a big play.
3rd and goal. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 over to the right. Blair coming in motion from the right side. Tevin Coleman in at halfback. 3rd and 1. Bottom dropping back to pass. Looking, looks for Coleman on the outside. He catches it inbounds, steps out of bounds, 10-yard line, 1st down. Well, Coleman got a touch, so you can call me half right on that play.
So last time they was within the 10-yard line, they went to their big tight end, Kobe Fleener. So look again for him to try to come over the middle and get a touchdown right here as the New Orleans Saints try to go up before the half.
Great game we have here on NBL Live. Second half, our doubleheader. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man Hop. Again, reminder, Super Bowl will be tomorrow night, probably. Follow us on Twitter at Palmer League. We'll announce that. The game time it should be tomorrow night, but it just depends on the schedules of the 2 teams in that game. 1st and goal. Bottom dropping back to pass on 1st and goal. Looking. He's using a lot of time. 8 seconds to go. Rolls out. Finds a man on the sideline. It's Blair trying to get to the end zone. He stood up at the 1-yard line, and New Orleans uses that second timeout, stopping the clock with 4 seconds to go. Hop, do you even risk trying to get into the end zone here?
100%. Give the ball to your fullback. Give it to Ross Bonham. Let him on a sneak. Call the timeout immediately after if you don't get it. But this is the playoffs. This is the Detroit Lions. You're a 5-time champion. You got to take some risks if you want to beat them.
2nd and goal. Big formation here. The Detroit Lions pinching the middle of that line. Now spreading it out a little bit. Ross Bonham under center. Tevin Coleman at the top of the dive. 4 seconds to go, folks. Let's see what happens here. Hard count here from Ross Bonham. 2 tight ends on the right side of that formation. 1 over on the left. As Bonham tries to sneak it in, he doesn't get in. They're going to have to call a timeout quickly. They do. Oh, the quarterback sneak. And he ended up not even remotely getting close. He just went into his center's backside, and they're going to be forced to settle for a field goal.
Do you think they're going to settle for a field goal? I don't know. It looks like Ross Bonham's staying on the field right now. They did have that toss wide open right there, but I understand the quarterback sneak. You want to give it to your playmaker, Ross Bonham, let him see if he can make a play. But it just did not happen right there.
Well, this is a short field goal, as short as it gets, 18-yarders up and good. New Orleans goes in 13-10 on top. And I think that's pretty fair, Hop. We've seen some games where the score isn't quite as, as indicative of the play, but New Orleans, they've been the better team, really dominating time of possession. The Detroit Lions offense just hasn't gotten going yet.
Oh, 100%. They have been the better team. They gave up that one big play to Golden Tate to set up the score for the Detroit Lions. But other than that, they've been lights out on defense and offense both. So look for Detroit to go in and make some adjustments and slow down Ross Bonham and that red-hot offense New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, there are plenty of times you see teams come in on the road, tough playoff game, spot on the Super Bowl. There maybe some jitters. Maybe they just don't come in as prepared as they should be. This Saints team is very well prepared. They're up 13-10 at the half. And we got a whole half of ball game left as the Detroit Lions, you never know, they can get going in a hurry. It's going to be Matt Stafford under center, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. As on 1st and 10, it's going to be a handoff on 1st down. Trying to get to the outside, makes a man miss, but can't make. The cornerback misses. Keith Marshall gets 2 yards on the play. That's the one thing that will kill the Saints team against the Detroit Lions hop is those missed tackles, a little bit of undiscipline on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, that linebacker just completely took himself out of the play right there, and it almost cost him, but the cornerback didn't make a great play. That's the first run we've seen from the Lions so far this game for -1 yard. So I think we see a little more run throughout the first and second drive as they try to get moving the sticks a little bit more.
You can see on those stats on the right side of the overlay, this line's the #1 overall offense, #1 in passing, 22nd in rushing. This is a pass-first offense. Matt Stafford leads this team. They are going to get it done through the air. The running game has always been just sort of an afterthought in Detroit as Matt Stafford in the shotgun with 2 wide receivers dropping back to pass on 2nd and 8. Looks underneath, finds Harvey Beckham with another catch to the 34-yard line. He'll be just short at 3rd and 1. Harvey Beckham so far, I mean, he's had a couple nice catches, but at the end of the day, he hasn't been quite the explosive playmaker that we've seen. Maybe he's just biding his time, but they haven't given him a whole lot of opportunity.
No, I mean, we talked about you're not going to stop him. You know, he's already got 55 yards, but you do have to contain him. And I think the Saints have been doing a great job containing him so far. Let's just see if they can keep it up throughout the second half.
4 wide receivers for Matt Stafford in the shotgun. 3 over to the left side, 1 over to the right side as he changes up the play, serving the defense. Blitz coming. It is picked up. It's a quick throw, and it's complete to Harvey Beckham in the slot. They showed their hand just a little too early, and that's how good Matt Stafford is. As when he saw that middle linebacker creeping up to the line of scrimmage right before the snap, he knew Harvey Beckham would be open. He found him, and they got a 1st down at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, I agree. They showed that blitz just a little bit too early, and against great quarterbacks like Matt Stafford, you just can't do it. He knew as soon as he hiked it, he was hitting Harvey Beckham, and the short hands that Beckham held on as Marshawn Lattimore was all over his back.
1st and 10 for the Lions at the 49-yard line. That's going to be a penalty. That's going to be a little movement on the offensive line, backing them up to a 1st and 15. Again, folks, while we're here in the 3rd quarter, I want to give a big shout-out to our graphic sponsor, web3ks.com. They do that overlay you see here on NBL Live and a bunch of other graphics for the entire network. So if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to web3ks.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. Matt Stafford throws it over the middle. It is complete and a 1st down at the 38-yard line. Golden Tate with another big catch as Matt Stafford recognizing the man coverage. Threw it to his #1 target. Golden State's still the man. Golden Tate, not Golden State.
The Warriors.
Well, the Warrior. Well, you could call him the Warrior. Golden Tate's still the #1 guy here in Detroit.
No, that's 100% a fact. And you see the Detroit offensive line has been having troubles throughout the first half, and now they're getting the ball out a lot quicker and not giving them a chance to let them hit Matthew Stafford. Yeah,
a lot of quick throws from Detroit. Great adjustment at halftime. 1st and 10. Matt Stafford is play action. Pass rush is coming. It doesn't matter how quickly you get rid of the ball. When Rankins is running untouched up the middle, 8-yard loss on the play. This Saints team continues to get to Matt Stafford, and it's slowed down the Lions offense, backing him up to a 2nd and long.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. That's like 3 or 4 sacks off a long play action. It's like how many times are they going to keep doing that until eventually they get it that it's not going to work against this New Orleans Saints defensive line?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, as everybody's pointing out in the chat, no time for play action. I don't think anybody is fooled by that. The Saints are perfectly comfortable in letting the run game get going because Detroit's just not a running team. They're not fooled by the play actions from Matt Stafford. 2nd and 18. 3 wide receivers over to the left side. Rob Gronkowski, the only one on the right on 2nd down. Stafford looking for somebody, and he finds a man. And who else but HB18 Harvey Beckham with a catch at the 30-yard line. Give him 16 on the play, bringing up a 3rd and 2. He is just so hard to stay with in man coverage.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't stop him one-on-one in man coverage. You're just not going to. Like I said, he's the fastest player in the NBL for a reason. But now Detroit's starting to get moving. They're getting towards the red zone. So watch out for these tight ends once they get in the red zone. They love going over the middle to Gronk or to Cupper on these tight end streaks once they get closer to the goal line.
Josh H. in the chat. Hello from the SML. Welcome. We appreciate you tuning into NBL Live. Broadcast number 163, the NFC Championship game, 2nd half of our doubleheader. We already saw the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cleveland Browns in a classic here on NBL Live. Certainly will be up for NBL Live Game of the Year selection. 3rd and 2, Matt Stafford dropping back to pass. As he has a man over the middle, it is complete. It's Golden Tate who gets up to the 7-yard line. They challenge the middle of this New Orleans defense, and it was just too good of a throw by Matt Stafford, finding Golden Tate as they've got 1st and goal.
What more can you ask from the New Orleans Saints defense? They play that perfectly. They cover the middle. Matt Stafford just puts a dot right over top of them and makes a big play for Golden Great.
Vintage Matt Stafford tonight, as he has been on target when he's not getting hit. If they can keep him clean. This Lions team is so good, and look at them use all of this clock. This is not a team that is they're very methodical moving down the field in this game. They know New Orleans is trying to be methodical as well, sort of matching styles. 1st and goal. Gronkowski coming in motion over to the left side, putting 3 over on the left, 1 over to the right, and it's a pitch play to the left, and the blocking is there, and into the end zone. Keith Marshall walks there. It doesn't matter how often they run the ball. When they block like that, they're going to score. 6 yards to the house. The Lions get it done on the ground and reclaim the lead. 16-13 as the extra point is up and good, and Lions back on top by 4.
That's the one great thing about Rob Gronkowski. It doesn't matter how old he gets. He is an amazing blocker. He might as well have 6 offensive linemen out there blocking on that run.
That's because he's a freak. Let's just go with that. He's an athletic freak, and that's why he is so good. Whether he's catching balls or blocking, he is so good. And now the New Orleans Saints looking to respond. McAllister taking this out of the end zone. Nice hit there as he's down at the 21-yard line. Ross Bonham finished the first half perfect. Perfection in the first half. I don't think anybody expected this out of their young quarterback. We know how good he has been, but he has never been this good. Now let's see what he can do as he comes out of halftime. He's been sitting for a while. Let's see if his vision and if his arm is just as good as it was in the first half. As Ross Bonham comes out shotgun formation, 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Tevin Coleman to his left. 1st and 10 for Ross Bonham. As he surveys the defense, he'll drop back to pass. Only a 3-man rush from the Lions. And he's looking over to the left side, has a man wide open. It's Michael Thomas once again as Bonham 15 for 15 to start this game. 2:04 and a touchdown, and Michael Thomas with another catch for the New Orleans Saints.
How amazing is it what this young QB is doing to this great Detroit Lions team? I mean, he is just walking down the field on this team, and it is amazing.
Now 1st and 10 for the Saints at the 37-yard line. 3 wide receivers once again, 2 to the left, 1 over to the right. Blair coming in motion as the Lions send a little bit of heat here on 1st and 10. Bonham rolling, and he's going to toss this one underneath to Blair. He's going to get near the 1st down marker. Probably just short of the 46-yard line. Bring him a 2nd and 1. Nice job there by the Lions to push him out of the pocket because he had a receiver coming from the right side over to the left that was wide open, but Bonham rolling to the right just didn't have the vision to see him.
Yeah, I think that's the one knock on Ross Bonham. He has a little happy feet in the pocket. He gets out of the pocket too quick instead of where he could just step up and make a better play. But, I mean, he's 16 for 16. There's not many knocks you can really say to him.
Yeah, I don't think you can really knock him at this point. He's having an unbelievable game. 2nd and 1 for the New Orleans Saints. He's been pushing all over the field, not just underneath, but he's been doing it underneath and down the field as Bonham finally gets caught. They ran that sack or that screen play, and it was perfectly read by the Detroit Lions. And when the screenplay is read perfectly, there's a lot of free rushers up the middle. And now a 3rd and 14 for the New Orleans Saints. Bonham going to have to work a little magic here in 3rd and long if they want to stay on pace with this Lions team. 3 wide receivers over to the right side for Bonham. 1 over to the left. Tevin Coleman to his left. As it is going to be Ross Bonham dropping back to pass. Only a 3-man rush from the Detroit Lions. The pressure's coming. He's going to have to get rid of it. He looks to that's the first incompletion as that one was 2 yards into the sidelines. So the perfect streak is over, and the New Orleans Saints are going to be forced to punt it back to the Detroit Lions. This is where the Lions can get you. If you get behind, you don't score on your drives, this is where the Lions can explode and go up big in this game. As this punt is away, it's inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be taken, trying to get to the outside, but not a whole lot of room there. Will be taken down to the 14-yard line. The first incompletion of the game, Hop, I just don't think we would be saying that in the 3rd quarter for Ross Bonham.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that he would be 16 for 16 going into late into the 3rd quarter. But this is where we're going to find out what the Saints are really made of. Now they're playing down. I don't like that they went away from Tevin Coleman that whole last drive. It's like they got down and they got too fast. They tried to move the ball too fast, and they got away from their strengths. But They're still in this game, and we're going to see what they're really made of right here on this drive.
Yeah, Timbo saying the same thing in the chat. They're getting too pass happy, forgetting about Tevin Coleman, forgetting about what got them here. That stellar rushing attack that was 13 in the NBL. 1st and 10. Matt Stafford dropping back to pass, looking over to the right side, trying to find him, and a great catch by Harvey Beckham. At the 33-yard line, it's another 1st down for the Detroit Lions, as once again HB18 making the plays for this offense.
Man, it's like every time they come out in man, Matt Stafford reads it immediately and hits HB18. It is amazing how they just shred man. This Detroit Lions passing attack is one of a kind.
8 catches for 106. That's how good Harvey Beckham has been in this game. Now 1st and 10 for the Lions. 17 passes, 3 rushes in this game. That's sort of the Detroit Lions way, but one of those rushes went for a touchdown. That's, well, an unusual thing from the Detroit Lions is this pass is underneath, batted away underneath as there looked like a little bit of traffic trying to run that drag route from the left over to the right. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, New Orleans, they are very lucky right there because if Harvey Beckham caught that ball, he was going to go a long way. Because he had nothing but open grass in front of him, but he just couldn't hold on to the ball.
Yeah, one of those tough plays where you're running that drag route and there's just a lot of guys underneath, watching that underneath route. And let's see if Matt Stafford recognizes the hard flatting and tries to push it down the field a little more, because he certainly has the weapons to do it. 5 wide receivers, empty backfield for Matt Stafford. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Stafford dropping back to pass here on 2nd and 10. The rush gets there quickly, but he finds a man over the middle, and Beckham... Oh, he dropped the ball at the 33-yard line, as we're finding out Montgomery will be coming back into the game. That one, something we haven't seen from Harvey Beckham. He had the catch in front of the safety and just didn't lock that one in. Now a 3rd down for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think he knew that hit was coming from Kenny, and he did not want to take that hit, so he made a business decision right there and just could not come up with the ball. But there was another injury on that play, but I'm not sure
I didn't see who it was. We'll get word in a second, get that to you guys, folks. We appreciate all of you tuning into NBL Live, broadcast number 163, doubleheader action on the network tonight. I'm Oshu. I'm hanging out with my man Hop, and we've got a lot of stuff coming up for you folks. We've got our Super Bowl coming up tomorrow night, presumably, and then our NBL Season 28 rookie, or excuse me, Season 29 rookie draft coming up next week. That's going to be Thursday night. Got a new format we're testing out, so you're going to want to tune into that one. That should be a lot of fun. 3rd and 10. Matt Stafford rolling out to the right side. Nobody open downfield, but finally there is one, and it's Golden Tate coming from the left side, and just like that, they're down to the 35-yard line. Hop. We said if you give Matt Stafford too much time, you don't send enough blitzers, they're going to find a way to beat you. Stafford steps out of the pocket and finds his guy, Golden Great.
Yeah, Stafford just looks so comfortable when he rolls out to his right. I mean, you have to get pressure on him, or at least contain him and not let him get to that outside, because once he does, there's only a matter of time before them great receivers finally get open in a zone.
And just like that, it's the 4th quarter, folks, and Zach Moore, Z-Star, owner of the Cleveland Browns, who had a fantastic game, that AFC Championship game, saying what I think everybody's thinking: you got to hold them to 3 here. And in the second half, the Lions have picked apart this Saints defense, not trying to do too much, just trying to get down the field, and that's why they have the ball on the 35-yard line. 17-13, Detroit on top. It's going to be Matt Stafford breaking the huddle. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left. Beckham alone to the right. As on 1st and 10, it's going to be a run play and a missed tackle, and a lot of room on the left side. It's a 1st down and more up to the 16-yard line. Keith Marshall's 3rd carry on the day, as we're getting word it was Taylor Decker, the very talented left tackle. They're saying an abdominal tear. He's going to be out for the rest of the playoffs. So if they do make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to be without their star left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, this Lions offensive line already has not looked great. And now they're losing their stud left tackle that protects Matthew Stafford as he does. It's very scary for the Lions if they do go on to the Super Bowl. 1st
and 10. It's another handoff to Keith Marshall. This one well played by the New Orleans Saints. They bring him down for a 1-yard loss. Going to bring up a 2nd and 11. The Detroit Lions look like they're trying to just sort of kill some clock here. Again, NBL rules state you can't actually kill the clock, use that chew clock function until under the 2-minute warning, but they're going to run the ball here inside because they know a field goal still puts them up at the touchdown. And the way the Lions defense played on that last drive, I think they're trying to trust their defense.
Yeah, and you know, this is a great adjustment. I told you earlier that Lynch and Marshall really split carries, but Lynch hasn't touched the game so far, I don't think. And
I think he's 1 carry.
Of Keith Marshall.
Yeah, it's been Keith Marshall, Keith Marshall, Keith Marshall. 2nd and 11, 5 wide receivers. Marshall going over to the right side. They love running this screen. Let's see if the Saints recognize it. They throw the screen, and the Saints doing a great job of getting in the backfield and bringing them down at the 16-yard line. Only a 1-yard gain on the play. Yeah, that's one of the Lions staples. Marshall to try to get that screen going, and the New Orleans Saints, they watched some film.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no not hiding anything. The Lions, they're not hiding anything they do. They do what they do, and they just do it so well. It's just if you can stop it. You know what they're gonna do. You just have to stop it, and that's a very, very hard thing to do.
Well, now we got another third down. This is where the Lions may struggle a little bit. They do so well with Matt Stafford getting out of the pocket. Their wide receivers using the open space. Not as much space here inside the red zone. Ball on the 16-yard line. Matt Stafford in the shotgun formation. He's got Lynch to his left. 3 wide receivers out there as Stafford dropping back to pass. He's getting tackled. He's going to go down at the 21-yard line. Blackson gets the sack and a huge play on third down to force Detroit into a field goal attempt.
Yeah, now they're going to be down. Saying that he hits the field goal, they're going to be down a touchdown. Ross Bonham, as hot as he is, he's going to come back in and he needs to drop it all the way down and get a touchdown, put the New Orleans Saints back in this game.
It's up and it's good, 20-13 your score. But if you're the New Orleans Saints, you're real happy with where you are right now because you're putting the ball in Ross Bonham's hand, who has been stellar. Only 1 incompletion on the day. He's been throwing it all over the field. It's basically been the difference in this game was that one stop on the last drive. That's why the Lions are up 7. But let's see what the New Orleans Saints can do with 4:17 to go. This return's going to be taken up to the 20, just short of the 25-yard line to the 23. Hop, you got to think, though, a key, even how good Ross Bonham has played, a key on this game is to not forget you got Tevin Coleman in the backfield.
100%. We talked about how bad the Detroit Lions are in the run game. 29th in the NBL. 4:15 is a ton of time. You have got to rely on your star running back.
1st and 10. It's a toss play to Tevin Coleman over the left side. There's a lot of room out there. He's got one guy. Spin move. He's got room down the left side. Don't forget about Tevin Coleman, folks, as he gets to the 47-yard line. 24 yards on that one. 8th carry of the game, and just on cue. Coleman gets the carry, and Coleman shows off what he can do.
That was just nasty moves by Tevin Coleman. He put 2 defenders just on their butt right there. That was nasty.
The old spin cycle coming into play here in the 4th quarter as we're under 4 minutes to go. Ross Bonham comes out under center. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 over to the right. Tevin Coleman in the backfield. 1st and 10 play action pass. Rush is coming. He's looking over to the right side. It's Hansen making the catch at the 29-yard line. Bonham continues to make the right decisions, even with the blitz coming. Detroit trying anything they can do to get pressure on Ross Bonham, and it doesn't matter. He's delivering dots all over the field.
I mean, we said we wouldn't have a game as close as the one we just called, but I don't know.
That's what we get for talking. That's why you don't say stuff before the game. 1st and 10 for the New Orleans Saints. Bunch formation to the right. 1 over to the left. That's Michael Thomas. Tevin Coleman in the backfield. Fleener coming in motion from the right to the left. And it's going to be Tevin Coleman getting the ball, trying to get outside. Boy, he had a great pancake on the left side. You saw that one too, didn't you, Hop?
I did. He had a whole... That was a touchdown right there if he just took it right behind the left tackle. And, oh, man, that one's he's going to remember that one if they don't come back to win this game.
Yeah, if they don't come back to win that, he's going to see that on film and be kicking himself. But 2nd and 8 now for the New Orleans Saints as we're nearing the 2-minute warning. A great game here. Trying to find out who will face the Pittsburgh Steelers in the season 28 Super Bowl. 2nd and 8 for the Saints. It's a toss play to Tevin Coleman, and someone missed an assignment on the right side because Coleman never had a chance. There was one guy out there and no one threw the block. LeBounty with the tackle. And now a huge moment in this game. 3rd and 10 for the New Orleans Saints. It's Ross Bonham. He's going to be under center, I formation. Tevin Coleman at the top of that I. 2 wide receivers. Thomas to the left, Blair to the right. It's going to be Bonham dropping back to pass, looking to the out route, and that's jumped by the Lions. The first real bad decision, and this is in a lot of green space. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Detroit, they're dancing here in Motown. Touchdown, Lions.
Oh, man, OSU. And Ross Bonham, as great of a game as he just had, he just threw the game away right there. You have to read that's a zone coverage, and them quick outs are not going to be open with the zone coverage that they had right there.
Yeah, he absolutely locked in on one receiver, but here's my question. On a coaching standpoint, it's 3rd and 10. You come out in an I formation with 2 wide receivers. What are you thinking? You've had so much success with the spread, with the multiple wide receivers, and Bonham making the right choice. You put him into a box with that one by coming on the I because you knew Detroit wasn't going to be looking for the run on that play.
Yeah, and that's just a very poor decision by this young coaching staff as well. And it's going to come back to bite them, but they're going to learn a lot from this game. They've done very well to get to where they are and to stay in this game, and they're going to learn and come back next year a lot better from this game right here.
Well, 2:08 to go. They've got all 3 timeouts, so a quick score. And, well, the way this Detroit Lions rushing attack is, You never know what'll happen. We already counted out one team, and the Browns made it interesting in our first game. Now 1st and 10 for Bonham and the New Orleans Saints, as he's in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers, dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. Looks over the middle of the field, has a man! It's Hansen with the catch at the 40-yard line, and again, it's just absolutely infuriating, huh? Because look, they spread the field, and Bonham makes the right choice. 3rd and 10, you don't spread the field out, and Bonham makes his first bad decision of the game.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's in the past now. Now they have 2 minutes. They got to get 2 touchdowns, so you got to forget about that play and just keep doing what you're doing and put the ball in the end zone right here.
Bonham dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. Looking. He's looking deep down the field again. And this is just Ross Bonham forcing it, trying to make something happen. It's picked off by the Lions. And it's going to be a party here in the D as the Lions look primed to go to another Super Bowl. Bonham had such a great game, but you put him behind the clock, down 14. And that one, he was looking for Michael Thomas into triple coverage, had open receivers underneath, and that's just a young player trying to make something happen for his team. Nothing to be sad about if you're Ross Bonham. A beautiful performance today, but it was just too much Detroit, and they capitalized on the few mistakes they made.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that Ross Bonham needs to hold his head on. Like I said, he's going to learn a lot from this game and come back even stronger in season 29, but this Detroit offense is just so good. I mean, what can you do? If you start making mistakes against them, then you're behind, and you're just not going to catch up once you get behind against them. This Super Bowl is going to be a very good game.
Yeah, it doesn't look like New Orleans is going to... Oh, they do. They just wanted to wait a second. They want to kill one more second. They used their first time out after that 3-yard loss by Marshall. Yeah, I mean, again, this Lions offense is good, no doubt. And Harvey Beckham and Golden Tate are out of this world. Here's my thing, though. I look forward to the Super Bowl. The way that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has been running, what I've seen from them, this Lions offense is good. They're nowhere on that level of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Roethlisberger and co. is at any level like they have been over the last couple of games, I just don't think this Lions defense is good enough to do anything against them, and I'm not sure their offense can keep up, because against a New Orleans Saints team that has, I mean, no knock against the Saints, is not as talented as the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It just doesn't seem like they're even on the level of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's like the Pittsburgh Steelers are 1 and the Lions are 3.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So I have to give the Pittsburgh's offense the go here. They're definitely the better team because they have both. They can beat you in the pass with whichever receiver you want. Then they can also run. But I think the Detroit defense is a little better than the Steelers right now. So if they can figure out somehow to contain that passing game and not just let Le'Veon run all over them, they're still going to move the ball. And that number 3, like you said, offense is going to be good enough to win them this game. Yeah. It's going to be a very, very tight game.
Absolutely. It should be interesting as Detroit's going to punt this one away to the New Orleans Saints. 1:31 to go. The Lions are up 27-13, so New Orleans is going to need a real quick score, and they're going to need to get an onside kick and then score again. So we've seen some things happen here on NBL Live. You never know as this kick is taken back. Nice return here up to the 50, up past the 45-yard line to the 41. Good field position here for the Saints. 1:20 to go. They need to go, and they need to go quickly.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time for this New Orleans Saints. I mean, they're already going to have to rely on an onside kick, and we know how the chances of getting that onside kick is very, very slim to none.
Jay Vines in the chat asking, will the Grid playoffs be broadcast? No, they will not, apart from individual teams broadcasting their games. But we will have an announcement about something fun we're doing with the Grid and a little opportunity to see some of the future stars of the NBL with a new show we're coming out with next season. That'll be announced during the Super Bowl broadcast. So check us out. That's going to be, again, probably tomorrow night. Follow us on Twitter at Bomber League. We'll announce the game time there. Or just hit that subscribe button down below so you know when we go live. We'll announce that show along with the winners of our Game of the Year and Achievement in Media Excellence Award. All that tomorrow night, so big show planned. 2nd and 10, Ross Bonham dropping back to pass. Rolling out to the right side, trying to find something open. Looking all the time in the world. Michael Thomas, he just came across from the left side, made the catch at the 25-yard line. He's been stellar this game. As again, stick with us. We will pick our NBL Live Player of the Game for broadcast 163 as soon as this one goes final. 1st and 10, Ross Bonham dropping back to pass. Looking, rolling out to the left side. This Saints offensive line has played way better than I think anybody expected as he's out of balance on the play. Hob, how impressed have you been by this Saints offensive line that is not one of the offensive lines we talk of as one of the best in the NBL?
Yeah, I really thought going into this game that Detroit really had the advantage when it comes to offensive line, but it's been the exact flip-flop throughout this game. And this New Orleans Saints offense as a whole, not just the offensive line, has been amazing. I mean, you definitely can't knock them for this game.
Blair with the catch on the left side, steps out of bounds at the 11. Bottom 20 at 25, 292, 2 interceptions. Those have all been in the fourth quarter. That pressure came down on the young fella, and he just made some mistakes. The first one, definitely a mistake on Ross Bonham's part and a coaching mistake as to why they called that play. The second one is Bonham trying to force it downfield, just trying to make something happen for his team. But he started out this game absolutely unbelievable, and it's going to be a star in the NBL for years to come. As on 1st and 10, Bonham dropping back to pass, rolling out to the right side, trying to find somebody open, looking for his running back. It's Tevin Coleman's upended at the 1-yard line. They're going to have to hurry to the line here with 32 seconds and counting, 2nd and inches. Clock running under 30 seconds as Bonham is in the shotgun formation. 3 wide receivers over to the left side. 2nd inches, changing up the play. What are they doing? 21 seconds and counting. They're going to flip. They're not going to have any time if they do get an onside kick. 16 seconds and counting. 3 wide receivers over to the right. 13 seconds and counting. They used a good 20 seconds on this play as Bonham is going to be sacked. That's going to be the ball game. What a dud of an ending for Ross Bonham and the New Orleans Saints as Tease Tabor gets the sack, and the Detroit Lions are champions of the NFC once again with a 27-13 victory over the New Orleans Saints. What a win here in Motown. Before we get to our play of the game, before we talk about what we have coming up, Hop, one last thing about the New Orleans Saints. Where do you see this team going in the future? I feel like this may be one of the teams that's going to be challenging for NFC championships for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're a young team. They've done a great way to come here to get to where they are now, and I think it continues to trend upward. I think they take their division handily. I think they are the best team in that NFC South by far, and I think they continue to win that throughout this cycle. But as far as Super Bowls, it's going to be very hard for them to get past the Detroit Lions, the Seattle Seahawks, all the great teams in the NFC. But
I mean, let's go with the New Orleans Saints got past the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know about how hard it is getting past them. They went 7-9 this year. They got past the Seahawks, and that's an aging team. They hung with the Detroit Lions the entire game. Ross Bonham made some rookie mistakes. That's why I like this team, is because they're young, and the teams that are good right now, they're not the youngest teams in the world. The Seahawks are not the team. The Detroit Lions, they're definitely younger than the Seahawks. I think this team is going to be here for years to come. The biggest challenge is going to be that division. Falcons and Panthers are both very talented in that NFC South, but if they can put up 10, 11 win seasons, look out for this Saints team. It's time to now make our selection for NBL Live Player of the Game for broadcast number 163. Hop. A lot of players out there that deserve Player of the Game. I mean, if the Saints pulled this one out, it would have been Ross Bonham, absolutely. The guy I continue to go with, I mean, take your pick. Golden Tate or Harvey Beckham. They both had big catches. Tate had some big, deep catches. Harvey Beckham was sort of that dink and dunk player that used his speed. Who do you like for Player of the Game?
Man, this one's hard. They did, like I said, I think it has to be Harvey Beckham just because he did everything. I mean, he had corner routes, streaks, drags. He caught everything, but Golden Tate was very good on like 3rd downs too, but I think it has to be Harvey Beckham today. All
right, we'll give it to him. Harvey Beckham, your NBL Live Player of the Game for broadcast 163. You can check out our archives for all of our player game selections on our website, 365.maddenbomberleague.com under the NBL Live tab. And also you can check out our Super Bowl history there, and you can also apply for the NBL if you're interested in joining the ranks of the NBL. Hop, the Super Bowl is set. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl from season 25. The commission's going head-to-head. It is the Detroit Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Lions came on top in their last Super Bowl meeting, and now they have an opportunity to get another one here. The Steelers going for back-to-back Super Bowl championships. Lip looking for his 5th overall here in the NBL. Bomber looking for his 6th. What do you look forward to in that game?
Just these high-powered offense. I mean, we've seen Ben Roethlisberger throw for 94%, 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. We've seen Matt Stafford 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 80% completion percentage. I want to see which one is really the better QB of the NBL, because when you talk about QBs in the NBL, those two are on a complete different level than the rest of the league. So I really want to see which one in the big game can come up and get the Super Bowl trophy. Will Lip get his 5th, or will Bomber get his 6th?
Should be a great game, folks. Again, probably going to be tomorrow night, but it'll just depend. We're going to schedule it right after this broadcast goes off. So follow us on Twitter at Bomber League for the game time when it's posted, or just hit that subscribe button down below, and you'll be notified when we go live. What a night here on the NBL Network. Doubleheader action. Our Super Bowl is set for season 28. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to NBL Live tonight. Lots of great action, 2 great games, and don't miss that Super Bowl broadcast. For my co-host Hop, I'm OSU. Once again, your final score, the Detroit Lions, they win the NFC 27-13. We'll see you for our Super Bowl for season 28, Lions and Steelers, right here on NBL Live.